Hey guys, this is Jeff with Bauer & Sons. I'm out here in Auburn, Indiana. Apologize, it's a bit windy, but we're doing a 40 by 64, 16 foot tall. I want to do a quick walkthrough with you and explain quality post frame construction, a little bit of the bracing, and how a building comes together. Let's talk about how to get a good quality pole barn. A lot of guys up here in the Midwest are going to do pretty much the same style of building, but there's a handful of guys that will, I don't know, they get a little quirky with the way they build their buildings, and they're going to want to be overly particular, tell you that their way is always the best way. I'm always leery of contractors like that because there really is a million different ways to put something together. Our client had a house built by a local builder. They did a construction driveway so we could all get back there with our deliveries and cement trucks, that type of thing. But we got this barn put up before the home was done. This is 40 wide, 64 long, and 16 tall. We did a porch over each service door on the north side of the building. But here's the details for you. You're thinking about a barn or you want to put a building up, and here's what you need to be thinking about. You've got the bottom, this is called a skirt board, and that guy is just going to be anchored onto your posts. Talk through and think through what kind of post do you want to use. We highly recommend at minimum a 3-ply laminated post. It's going to be 3 2x6s nailed and glued together, and it's going to be a treated bottom. The post we use, that comes with a lifetime warranty because at the factory they actually dip it in tar and melt plastic. But you can also get a post protector sleeve that you can order online and just slip that thing on there so that the dirt, so that the wood is not touching the dirt. The way that the average guy is going to do a barn is 4 foot on center spacing with the roof trusses and 8 foot on center spacing with the wall posts, basically coming down the long eave wall. So if you look at the framing, you've got your post spaced, you've got the bottom tongue and groove skirt boards. Those are 2 2x8 stacked on top of each other. And then going up the wall, you're going to do your wall girt every 2 foot. Now, our bottom wall girt is at 3 foot because this building has wainscoting that's going to go on it, and it's a 2x6. That 2x6 first board is a little wider because you have to put your Z channel onto that board. Your header size will kind of vary. Right here, this is an eave wall garage door, so it's going to be weight bearing. Those trusses are going to be sitting over top of it or close to it, so that header right there on that little garage door needs to be thought through a little bit better just to make sure it's girthy enough. As you're putting your building together, you'll have a lot of temporary bracing, and so some of the bracing you see in here eventually is going to get removed. Some counties will actually want you to do, it's called knee bracing, and they'll ask you to do a 2x6. See that 2x4 going up right there off the post? They'll want you to do a 2x6 going up into the roof trusses. Talk to your truss engineer. That's why you really do want to work with a quality contractor and work with a quality lumberyard, not some mom and pop, throw it up, building yourself. A couple things to point out. Number one, we have 2x12 double headers, one on the inside, one on the outside. Right here, you see these angled 2x4s that are running from the roof trusses or through the webbing of the roof trusses all the way to the headers. That stuff has to be followed per the engineer plan of the trusses. The other thing, if you notice the gray, that's called drip stop. And you do want to put a vapor barrier on the backside of your metal. Your building is going to sweat. You're going to deal with condensation. And if you go the super cheap route and just put metal, plain metal with no condensation barrier, you're going to be annoyed that you tried to save, the $500. Like I said, all this bracing is going to eventually get taken out of here. It's just there kind of temporarily, the angle bracing. Some places, they do want you to put it. I've worked in some counties that the county over-engineers the building more so than even the designers and the roof truss people have for it. But a couple things. Over top of these garage doors, where the garage doors are going to go, it's called an eyebrow. As we connect the roof line together,
Number one, it gives the building a little charm. Number two, it's going to help to keep the water and some of the elements off of your overhead doors. And then if you noticed on the outside, we went with transom windows, so you get nice quality light or good light in a quality window. And then this building was also house wrapped. That's another expense. If you're super cheap, then sure, skip out on the house wrap. But it's really only a handful of $100 to do that, and it will, the R value is negligible, but it helps just to preserve that building. You do want that house wrap in case you ever put spray foam, so you don't want to spray foam on the back side of your metal. One day you're gonna have to pull a metal panel off and all your spray foam is gonna come with it. But if you were to build your own barn and you worked with a good lumber yard, you could literally order a whole entire kit and it's literally gonna come with instructions. You just got to kind of follow, and there's enough YouTube videos, you could kind of see how things get pieced together. Again, we did another eyebrow out here over this small overhead door, and then I really like how we did the porches over the service doors. On the service door porches, you see those are 6x6 solid block posts. They're okay. You don't have to use those. That's a Z channel I was mentioning earlier, and the wainscot just gets tucked up underneath there, and then it sits on top of this little bottom piece here called the rat guard. But the 6x6 posts, sometimes over time they can start to twist a little bit because of the wood grains. But if you're going to wrap them in a AZEK or some sort of a PVC wrap, it's not super important. You can use, we could have used one of these 3-ply posts, but this right here is a good quality building. And it's very specific to the Midwest. Pole barns are designed to be utilitarian. They're not designed to be residential space. You do want to build on a solid foundation for residential space. But that's what a good barn looks like. And we put up hundreds of barns, good stuff, and they last for 100 years. Well, I guess I don't know that because I'm not 100 years old, but